All right, good morning, everybody. So we're going to talk about the country of Bhutan. Now, you got to understand a couple things. When you're talking about Bhutan, Bhutan is a small country about half the size of Indiana. Look it up if you want to look and see how big Indiana is. It's about half that size. It's landlocked, so it's between China and it's between India. They they don't have any really bad relations with the Chinese. The Indians, yeah, they've had some really bad problems. Uh, especially since they have a Buddhist majority and they have a Hindu minority. Like any religion, they tend to not get along. That being said, you can look at the PowerPoint and you can see what the PowerPoint says. I'm going to talk to you about the good parts of Bhutan. Like I said, it's extremely mountainous. It is one of the cleanest places that you will ever see. One of the things that people always talk about when they go to Bhutan is that they fly in and the mountains are everywhere, and the air is absolutely clean, clear, and cold all the time. But it's like one of those things where there is no smog, there is no there's none of that industrial pollution because it's a developing country. And the thing is, like when you're talking about Bhutan, um, most people do really small businesses, like they make clothes. um, there's no car factories, there's no anything. It's really isolated. I mean, the country itself is only 600,000 people, so it's not really a very advanced place. There are no real paved roads. Uh, Most people walk everywhere. Cars are not allowed in the cities at all. If they are, there are police that direct the traffic because there are no traffic lights. So you have to actually have special permission to go into the city. In general, though, they don't allow vehicles in the cities. Um, One of the things that you'll notice too in Bhutan is that nobody smokes because tobacco is illegal throughout the entire country. There is a national dress code. All men are required to wear the robes, and they kind of look like Jedi robes. If you watch Star Wars, they kind of look like that. The women are actually required by law to wear dresses. So it's not a democracy. What what they practice in Bhutan is something called gross national happiness. Now, um, think about it this way. In practicing gross national happiness, what people do in Bhutan is they work about 4 days a week. They meditate. They practice spiritual things. They practice culture. Gross national happiness, as described by people there, is the idea that the water is absolutely clean. It's drinkable. Everybody talks to everybody else. You know your neighbors. And people practice that. People practice gross national happiness. They view being happy as better than actually working. So, for example, it would be kind of like us if we got off on Thursday afternoon from work and we basically went to our neighbor's house and we hung out for 7 or 8 hours and we just didn't talk about anything really serious. We just kind of hung out and we were happy. And if that was part of the culture here, and so that's what they practice, and so people generally are very happy there. It is one of those places where you you self sufficiently farm. That's subsistence farming. Most people grow their own food. There are no major grocery stores there. There are no major businesses there. Most businesses are cottage industries, and the government has set it up like that. In fact, there were no cell phones allowed, no TVs, no internet until 2015. So now what you get in Bhutan is you get one station and you get about maybe half an hour of news programming. And that's about it. And then what you get after that is you get television from India. And usually what you're seeing is you're starting to see um, uh, telenovelas, except they're Indian telenovelas. So, you're starting to see that, but no real entertainment. Um, so like none of that. And so they're really, really behind the times. And they did that in order to keep out all of the all of the industry and all of the what they viewed as being polluted by other countries, and being influenced by other countries. So, there's a lot of that goes on. Like to give you kind of an example, the monarch does not believe does not believe in being totally in control of his country. So what he does is he doesn't have a palace. He lives in a cabin in the woods, and he leaves the rule of his country to people who are educated from the United States, and they're not from the United States. There are people that lived in Bhutan that went to school outside and came back. So um, and that's what they're and that's what you're going to get. When you talk about absolute monarch, he's an absolute monarch in the sense of the fact that no, it's not a democratic country, and yes, the final word is all his. Um, and there's just a lot of things that you're going to read in the PowerPoint, but it is not a democracy. So there's that. Bhutan is a beautiful, beautiful place. None of their buildings are over 2 stories high. No major companies are there, and it's a perfect place for a lot of different reasons. They do use the Indian rupee. Most people are poor, and most people could really care less that they're poor. They're doing okay. Meditation is enforced by the government, and so people pray and people meditate, and that's part of gross national happiness is they require people to meditate. Again, it's not a democracy, so you have to think about it like that. But that's Bhutan. So look at the PowerPoint. you know think about what I told you. Balance the two together, because there's good and there's bad. And later on when the video uh, is put up on the posts, you can look at that and you can see that. um, okay. All right. So you know just to let you know, um, as far as the work goes, I have put the work on the where I post messages. I put the work up there. Some of you guys have seen it, but you need to go there. Okay. When you if you have a phone, like when you go to general for your class and it says, and it immediately takes you to the opening message, all your work is right there and you could see it. So look at my post from today. Okay. uh or I guess when you read this, it'll be tomorrow. So look at my post from 420. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Have a good one. I miss you guys. Please continue to turn in work. And if you have not started, you need to do that. All right. Grades go out on the 27th. So that's next Monday. So really, honestly, you have all weekend to turn stuff in. And you have all week. Okay? So, all right. Bye-bye. Miss you.